All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's a first look at the Kern County Raceway Park. Feels good to be down here in Southern California. Brand new racetrack for me tonight. So with that, always like to take so much time before the races, just to check out the entire facility and familiarize it with myself. Now Kern, decent sized racetrack. We got a go-kart track in the middle, and if you turn this way, the asphalt track's over there. So they're down to race anything at this place. But yeah, just checking out the racing surface, seems pretty wide, not super banked. One thing interesting to note is that they made a bunch of changes over the off season. So even the track today is much different than what they've had in the past. So it's almost brand new for all competitors involved. And to really get the best look, I had to walk on out on the racetrack, look up close at turns 1 and 2, look up close at turns 3 and 4, the banking, the moisture, kind of what they've been doing to prep the racetrack, and then that will prepare myself for my night with high limit racing here as we roll into engine heat, hot laps, and qualifying. So we just did our first laps of the day here around Kern County Raceway Park. This place is, it's interesting, that's for sure. Two totally different corners. Hot lapped in the top 10, so that was good. Anytime you hot lap well, there's a good chance that can translate into qualifying, and it did for us as we were 6th quick in Flight B. Little sigh of relief, because coming off the track, I'm like, man, I really don't know, and, oh, you can hear the horn, heat races are coming up. I saw the look on Carly's face on the quad. The look was like, man, that lap wasn't very good. And then, rolling back to the pit, I realized we were 6th, and I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll hold on to it as more cars went, and sure enough we were able to. Just never got through 1 and 2 on any of my timed laps, and then sure enough after the checkered I kind of opened it up a little bit more, and I mean, I don't know for sure because that lap's not timed, but I really think I would have been much better. Got through 1 and 2 and then had to slow down as I pulled off the racetrack. But anyway, our car's close, that's all that matters. And now moving into the heat race, we're going to be starting on the front row, and if we win this, we will advance into tonight's dash. So P1 in the heat race did exactly what we needed to do. We now have a quick turnaround as I'm hopping out of the race car and gonna head straight to the infield to spin the high limit roulette wheel.
How about some noise for Tanner Holmes here, folks? He's gonna spin the redraw roulette wheel. Brent Marks just took over the #1 spot thanks to a number 22. If Tanner Holmes can go a 21 or lower, he would take over the very top spot for dash. The number 30. That is not what he was hoping to see, but it's...
Well, we did our job there in that heat race. Started outside pole next to Justin Peck, and the inside had been good for all 3 heats before me. Justin took off good. I just kind of was able to, you know, hold enough pace next to him. We're going into 1. I just basically went the next lane up. We were side by side through the corner, and I just got a little bit off the corner to where I was able to clear for the lead down the backstretch and into 3. My first couple laps, like, I was figuring it out, and I didn't feel bad, but my last 4 versus my first 4 was a complete 180. I really figured out how to get through 1 and 2. Almost the slower I went, the faster I got. Carry good speed in, and then there's like a little bit of a hole here. It's hard to see, but just kind of upsets the car, and once I got past that, I stayed in the grip. Unfortunately, the surface right now is all the way around the bottom. They've been packing it in, as you can see. It didn't look like this when we were out there. It was a lot dirtier where it was difficult to move up a lane at all. 3 and 4's got more potential. Hopefully they keep working on 1 and 2. Fingers crossed. You just don't know how a night progresses. I think that we're going to have an opportunity to have a good surface. They're just going to have to keep working on it and trying to make it better, but we're in the dash. We don't know where we're at because of how they do the roulette wheel. A lot of high numbers, and we rolled high too, so just happy we're in the dash and we got a shot to start in these first 4 rows.
Get equal opportunity to watch the racing action on track.
So we almost got a position there on the start, just made a small mistake in 3 and 4 and gave it back. Now everyone's single filing out, and I'm just starting to try and move around to see if there's anything else off the bottom of the racetrack.
They just sounded the 8-minute horn, so we got to get moving. Started 7th there in the dash, finished 7th, almost got to 6th. The start's really key right now with how the surface is. Definitely could have held 6th. I just got trapped and got on the binders just a little too much entering the corner, and a car ripped around me. As I started to move around throughout the dash, like, the track's getting there. I think 1 and 2 is going to be a little narrow. Guys are going to be fighting for the bottom, but it's all about how you get through entry and you can carry enough speed. If you make the corner too small, you miss it on exit and it's a long backstretch. But I think 3 and 4 is going to be racy. There's grip on the bottom. It's almost still working in, and then it's almost cleaning off halfway up the track. So we're not using the whole width. This place is super wide. We're not using much of it, but we're starting to use more. So that's all we can ask for. We're not in a bad starting position. Rolling off 4th row inside. We just got to, you know, put together good laps and, like I said, be there at the end. So be nice to attack forward towards the top 5. If we can move forward, then we don't have to defend from cars behind us. Happy with our race car though. Just the more laps I'm going, and once I get in a rhythm, I feel like I'm really moving forward with positive momentum. So gonna climb in as we only have a few minutes to push out.
Feature is underway. Contact. 3 of the rookie contenders, and upside down goes Cy Lynch, along with possibly Danny Sams at the tail. And we have got chaos in turn number 2 on the opening lap.
Well, the team's got everything all loaded up. P4 tonight with high limit. Another top 5. Just missed the podium by that much. At one point, I almost got into 3rd. Kern County tonight was, a little bit of a, like I said earlier, just an interesting racetrack. The bottom was pretty good. Maybe if we had more laps or we could run a whole nother show, the top was kind of starting to come in, mainly in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, it was starting to come alive. It sounded like Tyler Courtney made a good run through the field, but hard to beat the 49 car Brad. And even Casey, Brent Marks, like those guys all starting up front and then everyone kind of migrating down low. It's just difficult to pass. At one point I got shuffled back to 5th and then fought back to 4th and then almost got to 3rd, but someone had to make a mistake or push off the bottom, and if you were able to be in position to capitalize, you could definitely make it happen. But I don't know, it's one of those things, like Tulare was a little bit of a high because we ran well, but then I feel like now that we're getting in a rhythm, like I said, tonight we just had to do our job, and top 5's part of our job, and being in contention all 30 laps, not just early, not just in the middle of the race, but at the end especially. And like I said, there at the end, probably kind of faded and was just in protect mode because I wasn't able to be going forward, and I could hear the guys on my tail, but just did everything we had to do to cover that bottom, and like I said, bring home a 4th place finish. So 7th to 4th, got a couple freebies. On the first lap there was a big crash in 1 and 2, so that happened and I was able just to sneak underneath it, but still we put ourselves in position all night, we worked hard, and came home with another top 5 with high limit, so that feels really, really good. Well, before we end today's show, I wanted to show you guys the racetrack. Dirty. Dirty was a good word to describe the surface all night. You can kind of see what I'm talking about behind me. The bottom was the way to go down here, and as we ran more laps with just quite a bit of moisture down there and it being a little choppy, it just constantly was throwing material into lane 2, 3, and 4. If it stayed clean, you maybe had something to work with, but when it's dirty like that, it's just so hard to make moves off the bottom lane. Turn 3 and 4 had more of a 2nd and 3rd lane, but the bottom again down there had quite a bit of grip, and that's why you saw so many guys around the infield berm. If you got past someone, you didn't make a mistake, it was going to be hard for them to get back by you, but when one guy made a mistake, everybody was attacking just to try to pounce on an opportunity to gain a spot. That's how intense 410 sprint car racing is, racing with some of the best guys in the entire world, and happy that we're running up front and we're putting together good nights from hot laps all the way through the checkered flag in the feature. If there's one takeaway, looking back through today, as a team we decided in the feature that we probably could have been a little tighter, and the word we would use is stuck, like definitely could have been more stuck on entry. And a good example was when I ran in next to Marks when we were 3 wide with Neto and he kind of shoved off the bottom and we all ran into 1. Like I just couldn't get through the middle if I carried speed, or even the bottom, like I just had to shut it down a little too much, whether my wing was forward or back. And if I could have got through 1 and 2 better, I think that would have helped me a lot down in 3 and 4, just because you kind of get screwed up on the backstretch. But anyway, we talked as a team, and it's hard to judge because the racetrack all night, right? Like you don't want to be too tight, you don't want to be too tight, you can't make the corner, but probably looking back, we could have just been a little bit more. So you put that in the notebook and remember it for the next time you see these conditions. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. Our start to 2025 has been great. Feels really good to rack up some top 5s. Want to gain that little bit to be podium, battling for wins, but a lot of it is just consistency. And if you keep running up front, those opportunities will appear or you'll be able to make them happen. So thanks for riding along with me for the journey. Thanks to Drew, Nate, Carly. They've been working so hard, and everybody that's a part of this team. Like I said, it's fun to run up front, run well, and have fast race cars, and we're going to continue that through the rest of the month of March. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.